What if I told you in the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you a tool that could change not just your mind, but your entire nervous system, a tool that overrides the survival program holding you hostage, a tool that dissolves outdated stories that's been running in your brain, a tool that breaks limits that you didn't even know you had. I know, it sounds too good to be true, and that's what most people think until they try it. Our brains are wired for familiar and not for freedom. But when you try this, your body will know. You will know instantaneously that this is true. I'm not here to give you motivation and hype and send you on your way. I'm here to give you something real, backed by neuroscience, proven in the human lab, something that has rewired me and can rewire you. So the only question is, are you ready? Are you ready to run your own system instead of the system running you? Let me introduce myself. My name is Asia Lee, and some of you may know me from my TEDx talk or my bestseller on Amazon, Infinite You. Forget the titles. What matters is I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and I am someone who was burnt down to the ashes and had to learn how to ignite my own light before I could lead anyone else into their power. I had to reclaim my own. My life didn't begin in safety. It began in fear, in survival. I was born on Jeju Island, South Korea, but I didn't get to stay there. I was stolen from my mother, my family, everything I knew, and shipped across the world and sold to a cult in New York. Yes, I know it sounds like a plot of a movie, but that was my life. One moment, I'm a little girl surrounded by beauty and love, and the next, I'm in a world where love existed, but not for me. And when we grow up in a world like that, it installs a program of powerlessness. It whispers, you're not enough. It convinces you life just happens to you. By the time I was 16, I just didn't want to be here anymore. Life was just too painful. And as I was going through that tunnel of light, I got sent back and told, you have a purpose. Let this be your whisper. You have a purpose. You matter. I took that whisper and I left the cult. But leaving didn't mean freedom. It meant I had nothing. No home, no family, no community, starting all over. I had no safety net, but I had a burning question. How can I find happiness? What is the meaning of life? Long before Google, before YouTube, there was one place you could go to find answers. The library. I read everything I could get my hands on. Psychology, neuroscience, metaphysics, quantum physics, the human potential. I took courses after courses, certified in energy work, breath work, hypnosis, NLP, EFT, you name it, I got it. I had the knowledge, but I did not have the integration because despite all this learning, I was still depressed. Then one morning, while meditating, I was floating out of my body and I heard this voice that said, relax. And it startled me. I've never heard voices before. And I'm looking down at my body and I'm thinking, if I can't get back in, I'm just as good as dead. But all the voice said again, relax. And I'm saying telepathically, but I'm afraid. And all the voice said was relax. So I just filled myself up with light, and bam, instantaneously, I was back in my body. Then came the download. My depression was rooted in guilt. Guilt from my childhood trauma, buried deep, deep, that I didn't even know it existed. And then the remembering, like lightning. Guilt, anger, fear, jealousy, these are not truth. The only truth is love. It felt like every cell in my body was exploding, bursting with this unconditional love. Bliss poured through me, tears streaming down my cheeks. Love is a truth. Everything else is an illusion. Illusion ends the moment you choose truth, because truth is the freedom. I'm going to demonstrate this with a little magic coloring book. So stay with me. Let me show you with something really simple, a kid's magic coloring book. The pages are already filled in. This is how most people see life, fixed, predetermined. This is just the way it is. This is my story. These are my limits. Nothing can change. Then, now the pages are outlined. This is the moment of awareness. You start to see life isn't set in stone. The colors were never chosen for you. We've just been living inside old patterns, family stories, culture programs. I can pick my own palette. I can move outside the lines. I can create differently. This is the awakening, the shift from unconscious survival to conscious choice. Now, this is where the real magic happens. The pages are blank, pure possibility. This is where the infinite you lives. No past conditioning, no invisible programming, just unbound creation. This is a space of consciousness itself, where you don't just react to life, you generate it. I want to share a story of our beloved Riley. Our oldest son, when he got married, they bought a little puppy, but living in Brooklyn, the apartment did not let dogs. So he said, Mom, can you watch the puppy for a little bit until we get a new place that can have dogs? 16 years later, yes, 16 years later, our beloved Riley passed. But his youngest son, who was 4 at the time, just couldn't comprehend Riley's passing. Anytime we saw him, he'd ask, why did Riley die? We'll FaceTime and he'll ask, why did Riley die? Constantly asking, why did Riley die? Now, a little while later, our entire family goes on a family vacation. My favorite time with all the kids and grandkids, and I'm tucking him in with his 7-year-old brother at the time, and right on cue, he asks, why did Riley die? And I just had it. I said, everything dies. And then the 7-year-old perks up and he asks, will you die? And I said, yes, someday I will die. Everything dies. And then he asks, will the sun die? I said, yes, the sun will die. Everything dies. And then he asks, will I die? And I was like, yes, but not after you have a long life. And then he goes, will God die? And I realized, no, God doesn't die. And the God in you never dies. Your essence never dies. Just this physical human form dies, but you will never die. And then he goes, that means I'm God? Yes, You are the creator. So how do we move from those colored in pages of inherited beliefs to the blank pages of creation? That's where the AAA method comes in. It's so simple, it feels like magic. It's tactical, embodied, and it can be done in less than 90 seconds. Awareness, acknowledge, and alchemize. So awareness is catching the signals, being aware of how we feel, the emotions, the triggers, the judgments. Why? Because when we catch it in the moment, the neural pathways are primed for change. It can change much faster than trying to recall an emotion. Think of it as the dog whisperer. Correction, they correct the animal when it's doing it instant. Awareness is like flipping the light in the dark room. Suddenly, what once controlled you is now visible, and what's visible can't control you anymore. 2, acknowledge. Name it. Name the emotion. Name the uncomfortable feeling. Naming it de-weaponizes the pattern. Stanford research shows just by naming an emotion reduces it up to 50%. It calms the amygdala and restores the prefrontal cortex of control. This is the moment you separate yourself from the sky and the storm. You know that you are not the storm. 3, alchemize, activate, reset your vagus nervous system. This is where tapping, pounding on our chest, flips the switch from survival to creation. We return to love, safety, oneness. Ancient wisdom and modern science both point to here. Tapping breaks the dependent loop. So the real magic is when you do this, not just one time, but when you continuously do it, you're rewiring your system, like 1 rep at a time. Think of it like going to the gym. I'll share how I used it recently. I started playing pickleball, and I went to the court in the morning by myself where a bunch of men play. And I got there and I started to walk near the court, and then this fear came. Like, I don't belong. I don't fit in. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't go on the court. I shouldn't be here. So I turned around and went back in the car. I sat in the car and I acknowledged my emotions of that. I didn't feel that I was good enough, that I didn't fit in, and that I was afraid. So even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself totally and unconditionally. I am safe. I am worthy. I am enough. I am loved. And when I felt better, I went on the court. And you know what? The men were amazing. They gave me tips. They played nicely. And I'm looking forward to going back more. So how can you use this? You can set your alarm to check in throughout the day, how you're feeling, because until you train yourself to check in, you may not be aware of how you're feeling. Or you may get triggered, and then you can use this. Well, before you go into a meeting, or if you find yourself in a loop of stress, financial, if you find yourself you can't fall asleep, this is so powerful. It's incredibly powerful and backed by science. I can't wait to hear from you on how this little bit of magic works. So let's do it together. So this is how you're going to do it. You're going to first take a deep breath in through your nose. Inhale. Hold it. Squeeze, tighten, and then relax and go, ah. mentally, I want you to scan your body to see where the tension is or the emotion is. I love doing this with my grandkids. And then once you have the location and that emotion, start tapping. Tapping right here below, like a couple of inches below. And we'll name the emotion. Even though I feel an emotion, I love and accept myself totally and unconditionally. I am worthy. I am enough. I am safe. Now let's take another deep breath in. Hold it and release with a sigh. Doesn't that feel amazing? Imagine doing it on a consistent basis. When you shift your state, you change the output of your entire life. And when you do this, not only do you do it for yourself, but you shift the collective field. That's why I created free resources for you. A guide on why your manifestation may not be working, because this will be raising your vibration. So your manifestations will be coming much faster. A guide to break down the science behind why this method works. A map showing you the AAA Method, how it connects to the world's greatest spiritual and religious traditions, plus a quick reset video you can use anytime. Because this isn't just information, it's transformation. And you deserve to experience it yourself. This is your path, your inherited patterns to choose colors to the infinite you. And the best part, you already have it. You have everything you need already within you. The AAA method is simple. It helps you remember again and again. The truth comes from your natural state. So take the reset, use it daily, watch your life shift, not someday, but now. And as you practice, remember this. It's not about changing your state. It's about remembering who you truly are, because every time you reset, you're strengthening the field for all of us. Take this in. You're not broken. You're not small. You're not at the mercy of your past. You are infinite. You are the creator. You are love embodied. And every time you choose awareness instead of autopilot, you are rewriting your story. Every time you acknowledge instead of repress, you are reclaiming your power. Every time you activate love instead of fear, you are stepping into the infinite you. And here's the truth. You don't just change your life when you do this. You lift the field for all of us. Because when one rises, we all rise. So let's make a promise right here, right now, that we will stop living from those colored in pages of inherited beliefs, that we will pick up the pen and choose our own colors, and even dare to create on those blank pages, because love is the only truth. And the infinite you is already here, waiting to be lived. Breathe that in. You are safe. You are enough. You are loved. And the world is ready for you to shine. I love you.